Molten steel breaks free. The ladle tips. You dive behind the safety screen. Now, 1,400 degrees. Shift started 4 minutes ago. You walk into the mill. The outgoing crew won't meet your eyes. Nobody speaks at all. You're the night shift steelworker on blast furnace number 3. Live mill, live metal. The shift supervisor grabs your arm. Pressure spikes again tonight, and we hit emergency protocol. You check the gauge on furnace 3. Reading is wrong. That's exactly how last shift ended. Shell temperature climbs fast, 200 degrees Celsius above the established safe operating limit. Your crew gets the order. Inspect the furnace lining from inside immediately. You move first. You pull on the thermal suit, 6 layers of fire-resistant material, 12 kilograms total. Inside the zone, heat hits your chest like a wall. The respirator makes every breath cost double. You find it, 40 centimeters of refractory brick crumbled away. The furnace lining is gone. Molten steel reaches that gap and it punches through. You have 20 minutes. That's your window. Your crew drags the shotcrete machine into position. This is the only shot at sealing the breach. You hold position at the damage point, tracking the crumble rate second by second. It accelerates. Victor refuses to enter the zone. He shouts that stepping inside right now is a death sentence. The shift boss pushes back. No second man, no shotcrete protocol. It's illegal. The clock ticks. The dispatcher crackles over radio. Do not stop the process under any circumstances. Any circumstances. You walk straight to Victor, 3 words into his face shield. He stops shouting. He listens. Victor pulls on his suit. Hands shake inside thick gloves, but his boots move toward the furnace. You lock the shotcrete nozzle onto the breech, open the feed valve. The machine kicks to life. Pressure surges and drops. The spray pattern breaks apart, laying uneven coverage across the gap. Victor holds the nozzle. You adjust angle millimeter by millimeter until the protective layer builds. The shotcrete machine stalls. Feed pump seizes mid-spray. Nozzle runs dry. The breech stays open. The gap is unprotected. Shell temperature keeps climbing. 12 minutes left on your window now. Sensors feed contradictory data. 2 gauges show cooling. 1 shows critical. Nobody trusts anything. You hit manual mode. Bypass valve open, pumping the mix by hand through the emergency line. 90 seconds of continuous pumping, and your forearms go numb. The mix keeps moving. So do you. The mechanic forces the valve. Machine fires hard and takes the load off your hands. Spray resumes. But 8 minutes are gone. 8 minutes lost inside a 20-minute window. The layer goes down partial. Not complete, but the breach has material covering it now. Barely. The ventilation system hits its limit. Shotcrete dust and combustion smoke flood the lower level. Visibility drops to 1 meter. You navigate by floor markings and sound. Eyes are useless in here. Heat reflects off the steel structure above. The floor vibrates under your boots in a low pulse. Working zone temperature climbs another 80 degrees in 3 minutes. The suit barely keeps up. You drop into short-cycle breathing, the thermal survival technique that keeps your core from spiking. Your crew forms a human chain through the smoke, passing tools hand to hand without visual contact. 1 worker loses his bearing in the smoke. 2 men grab him and walk him straight out. 6 minutes left on your window. Still inside. Victor beside you. You keep working. Don't stop. The shift boss makes the call. Partial tap the furnace before the breach can give way completely. This is not in the shift plan. Someone writes the emergency procedure while the furnace keeps burning. You need the emergency ladle parked across the mill floor, 12 minutes away under normal conditions. Crane operator Rashid drives the bridge crane at maximum travel speed. That speed is strictly prohibited. The ladle arrives. Positioning it under the tap point takes 4 more minutes of precision work. The furnace tilt angle doesn't match the ladle position. Geometry is wrong. Molten metal won't flow. Your crew attacks the tilt mechanism by hand. Bolts seized from heat. Wrenches slip off the fittings. The angle locks in. Tap can begin. But the time margin you started with is fully gone. The tap begins, and furnace number 2's alarm board lights up across the floor at once. Cooling water leaks into the metal zone on furnace 2. Water and molten steel. Only one outcome. Water on steel at 1500 degrees produces explosive steam expansion. A pressure event is real. Most of your crew breaks off for furnace 2. You and Victor manage the active tap alone. The ladle fills. Nobody watches the level. You watch it while running 30 meters between 2 points. You split focus between 2 live crisis points, 30 meters of smoke-filled floor between them. Victor takes full control of the ladle level without being asked. First independent call he's made tonight. The leak on Furnace 2 gets sealed. Your crew comes back. 4 minutes gone since departure. The ladle hits 90% fill. Victor couldn't stop the tap. It's past safe operating level now. 160 tons at 1550 degrees. Over full. Rising. That stopped being a ladle already. Rashid lifts the ladle to safety height. The move takes seconds. There is no second attempt. Steel spray fans from the ladle rim as it rises. Workers drop behind safety screens without hesitation. One burst hits the crane's power cable. The circuit breaker blows and the crane loses primary power. The crane freezes with 160 tons hanging on emergency electromagnetic hold. No backup nearby. The electromagnet holds, but power is unstable. The ladle begins a slow swing above the floor below. Nobody on the floor moves. One more electrical fault and the hold releases. Everyone already knows this. The plant electrical engineer remotely reroutes crane power to the secondary line. It takes 40 seconds. The ladle stops swinging. The hold stabilizes. Those 40 seconds felt like 40 complete minutes below. The electrical crew reaches the blown cable under shield cover. Primary line restored in 7 minutes. The shift boss repositions fast. 3 workers to the spill zone, 2 back to furnace monitoring. Rashid gets the order. Move the ladle slowly to the designated pour point. Every centimeter deliberate. The crane travels 15 meters. Every person on the floor watches every centimeter. Nobody blinks once. The ladle seats at the pour point. Steel flows clean into the casting forms. Steady, controlled, exact. First time in over an hour, the tension on the mill floor finally drops below critical. Furnace 3 enters controlled cooling. The planned target, 180 tons, won't be reached. Your crew exits the hot zone. 3 workers show heat exhaustion symptoms before reaching the recovery area. The medic reads your numbers. Heart rate 140, core temperature 39.2 Celsius. Victor sits against the wall, staring down, hands still shaking. He hasn't spoken since the ladle stopped. You walk over. He nods once. You nod back. Nothing left to say. Everything has been said. The shift boss runs the debrief. Voice flat. What happened? When it happened? What numbers say? The investigation finds it. The lining breach started last shift. That crew saw the anomaly, kept walking. The previous log is pulled. The temperature flag is in the system. The follow-up entry is blank. That blank line means your crew worked this whole shift inside a furnace already damaged on arrival. The incident report gets signed. The mill shuts down for 18 hours of full structural inspection. You peel off the thermal suit. The undershirt is soaked. Sweat and salt baked straight through. First water in 4 hours. Your hands barely remember how to hold the cup properly. Outside the window, the sky turns light. You walked in during darkness. You walk out in daylight. On the bus home, passengers shift away from your seat. You smell like burned metal and compound. The morning news calls it a minor technical disruption at a local facility. 18 hours downtime. Done. Those journalists don't know a blank line in a shift log almost ended an entire crew tonight. In steel mills, most catastrophic failures don't start with explosions. They start with one empty field. You didn't fight a fire tonight. You paid for another worker's silence at their shift end. Every move your crew made cost seconds you didn't have. In deficit from -1 tonight. The whole time, 160 tons of liquid steel hung above because of one unwritten line. Steel is forged in fire. Character is forged when the system breaks, and only the person remains. There are no small decisions on this floor, only decisions whose consequences haven't reached you yet. You fell asleep on the covers, one hand curled tight. The ratchet isn't there anymore. That was Insider Shift. Like and subscribe. Your next shift starts now.